All set? All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll start with my name. My name is Alyssa Arkand. I'm a Public Information Officer for the St. Paul Police Department, ALYSSAARCAND. This morning, St. Paul police officers made an arrest in the sexual assault and burglary that occurred on the 300 block of Snelling Avenue. On April 15th, all our security was threatened with a sexual assault. Many questions lingered. Do we know who was responsible, and can we catch the suspect? I can tell you that we put every effort into this case. Our investigators and officers worked tirelessly to find the person responsible. The details of this investigation will come out in the charging document when it's complete, which we expect to be soon. But what I can tell you is that this morning at 6:45, search warrants were executed in Stillwater and Maplewood, and the suspect in this case, Deontay Thomas, was taken into custody. He has now been booked into the Ramsey County Jail on suspicion of criminal sexual conduct, first-degree burglary, and kidnapping. Thank you to all of our law enforcement partners and everyone at the St. Paul Police Department who helped make this possible. And with that, I'll turn it over to St. Paul Police Chief Axel Henry.
Thank you. I think it's important to remember anytime we come to talk about an arrest, which is important, that means that someone out there and many people out there have been victimized. So we want to keep those folks in the forefront of our mind. Unfortunately, it was something as dangerous and as serious as an event like this. Our entire community felt this, and they also came together. So I want to start off by thanking the officers from all over our city who responded in the early morning hours when this occurred. I want to thank all the investigators and the leadership on our department who continued to tirelessly investigate this and never gave up on this case and continued to work it. I want to thank the tactical folks that have gone out, executed those search warrants, and apprehended the person, and the investigations that have led up to this case and got us to where we're at today. All of the people behind me, and probably 730 to 740 more from our police department, were all focused on this case. It's very important. It's very important to the people that have been victimized and traumatized by it. It's very important to our community, and we want to send a message. We are here for you. We never gave up on this issue. We are not going to give up. And if you come and commit crimes in this city in this way, we are going to find you and we are going to hold you accountable. Thank you.
Keeping in mind that this is an open and active investigation, and we're still waiting for the charging documents, we can take a couple questions if there's anything clarifying.
Were there multiple victims?
There was one victim.
Quite a team behind, and here with us, we can kind of talk about the process. Get the report, the work begins. What does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. Chief, please.
So it begins with a 911 call for emergency service. Patrol officers respond, take the information and take care of the person who's been victimized. Officers work diligently at the patrol level to try and establish some information that we could follow up on as investigators. One officer in particular took it upon himself to explore the evidence at hand and to utilize some of our technology to really drill down to help identify a suspect. I believe that expedited the solution of this case at the patrol level by a couple of weeks. Then it was our investigators took on the case, interviewing witnesses, canvassing the area, and working with partners from the BCA and other agencies to bring us to where we are today. So this was at the outset, many of these are whodunits, and this was no different. But through the effort from our police department, rank and file officers and investigators, this was brought to a conclusion successfully.
You mentioned that one officer. He or she, did they just get the ball rolling pretty quickly, and you said that kind of sped it up? If you can kind of
Sure.
as much detail as you can.
Sure. So generally speaking, in a circumstance like this, our patrol officers care very deeply. They interview witnesses, gather information, and synopsize what happened at the time. One officer in particular explored the evidence in the way that an investigator would, but being immediately proximal to the case. And that made a significant difference. Our officers do care very much, and they work hard on the information presented to them. In this particular case, the officer took an extra step, not one that is extraordinary or took special skill, but just a tremendous demonstration of caring in that moment, which really got us to this point much faster.
Alyssa, is the suspect someone who was previously known as St. Paul PD by any chance?
I don't have the information on if he was previously known at this time, but I can get that for you. I don't recall at all, so.
Is it still the case that the suspect was unknown to the victim?
That's correct.
Is this considered a random target, or?
Yes, this was random, which it makes it very difficult for everyone involved in the whole community. In the fact that it was random, and it's just something that we hope to prevent, and we're just happy that we found the person responsible.
Chief, what's your message for residents?
One second, Dave.
Was it a difficult arrest? Any incidents? The person tried to get away?
No, it was not.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Chief, what's your message for residents here in St. Paul this afternoon here?
Well, my message is that I want them to know, first off, we're here, we're committed. You talk about the officers that work shift work, the level that they care and the level they approach these cases doesn't take a break on those shifts. They're thinking about them on their time off. They come right back to work, they work them. I want the community to know that they are a huge part of that for us. That community came together and made itself safer as we came together as a community and did that. That wasn't the police department saturating that area. The neighbors came together. We as a community came together. We all worked together to make that neighborhood safer. Folks came out, they told us what they saw. They let us know when they didn't see things, which sometimes is just as important to know that someone didn't go down a certain road or a path or that car wasn't in there. But if we work together, we can prevent these in the future. But I also want them to know we are here for you. And if someone is going to commit crimes like this anywhere, we are going to find them and we are going to hold them accountable.
Thank you, everybody.
Say, is that an officer here? You want to call him beyond?
He is here, and if he feels comfortable, he'd like to come up.
I'll just wave and say hi.
He'll just wave and say hi. What you need to know about police officers is that's part of the reason why it's hard to select a chief, because no one really wants to stand here and talk to people on the front of the microphone.
You mentioned, Chief, the community in kind of helping in any investigation. In this one particular, how key was it? What kind of impact did they have on the investigation?
Well, they always have an impact because we're out canvassing those neighborhoods like they talked about, and they're sharing that information with us. And that starts with a willingness to communicate with us. But secondly, even though the actual incident is concluded, that whole neighborhood's feeling violated. They're feeling traumatized, and they're having great empathy for the folks. And sometimes they don't even know what the nature of the crime is. And so they work with us and we work with them because we are one big community to make sure that we don't let these things over-traumatize us in that way, and we get to solving the problem as quickly as possible. And that starts with finding the violators and holding them accountable and making those arrests.
What did you do to make the community feel safe after that crime?
Well, it started off in a very unusual way in the sense that one of the things we did right away was we had to put a notice out. And that might feel like that's scaring the community, but we have to be safe. We can't take certain kinds of risks. And then we get out. Our district chief from the Western District is here. Chief Murphy is right here. That happened in our Western District. Her officers, her team are out there working with community members, being available, and that means they're setting up community meetings late at night. They're doing things on a drop of a moment to make sure they're making sure that the streets and the roads are occupied by officers that are coming up and down and waving and those types of things. It happens at multiple levels across the board to work within our community to make people feel safe.
All right. Thank you.
Can we chat with you about the dog?
Good job, everybody.
Thank you.
I didn't introduce myself up front. I'm Deputy Chief of Investigations for St. Paul Police Department. My name is Joshua, Joshua. Last name is Lego, Lego.